So, you want to own eBay, not an account, not a small online store, not a collection of rare trading cards, not a few shares sitting inside your investment portfolio. You want the entire company. Every auction, every fixed price listing, every authenticated luxury watch, every sneaker sold through the platform, every collectible, every seller, every buyer, every listing, every transaction, everything. At first, it sounds like one of the easiest businesses in the world. After all, eBay doesn't build cars. It doesn't manufacture iPhones. It doesn't own massive oil refineries. It doesn't operate thousands of fulfillment centers like Amazon. It doesn't need to brew coffee like Starbucks. It doesn't bottle soft drinks like Coca-Cola. It simply connects buyers with sellers. How difficult could that possibly be? Very, because somewhere in the world right now, someone is listing a vintage Rolex. Another person is selling an old PlayStation. Someone else is auctioning a signed baseball. A collector is bidding on a rare Pokemon card. A mechanic is searching for a discontinued engine part. A musician is buying a second-hand guitar. Millions of people, millions of products, millions of transactions, none of which belong to you. That's the strange part, because unlike almost every company we've covered on Millionaire Decisions, you don't own the inventory. The products filling your marketplace belong to someone else. The risk of buying them belongs to someone else. The cost of storing them belongs to someone else. Even shipping them usually belongs to someone else. Yet somehow, you still make money. That's when your phone rings. It's 8:26 on a Wednesday morning. You're halfway through breakfast. Your phone vibrates across the table. You answer. A calm voice introduces itself. They're calling from one of the world's largest investment banks. The conversation is surprisingly short. We've been authorized to approach a very small number of buyers. You stop eating. eBay is available. Silence. You laugh. Surely not. The voice continues. Major shareholders are willing to negotiate. Investment banks are preparing financing. Law firms are already working behind closed doors. The opportunity is real. Then comes the number. Hundreds of billions of dollars. Not millions, not a few billion. Hundreds of billions. Your financial advisors immediately begin calling. Investment funds request meetings. Lawyers begin drafting documents. Economists start building valuation models. Some people tell you it's an incredible opportunity. Others tell you it's a company whose best years are behind it. Everyone has an opinion, but only one opinion matters: yours. Then someone slides a contract across the table. All you have to do is sign. At first, the decision feels easy. You're buying one of the world's oldest online marketplaces, a globally recognized brand, millions of loyal users, a business that's been connecting buyers and sellers for decades. What could possibly go wrong? Then someone asks a question. How many products does eBay actually own? You smile. Millions, right? Wrong. Almost none. That's when you realize something extraordinary. You just agreed to buy one of the world's biggest stores. That doesn't own the shelves, the products, or even most of the warehouses. Imagine opening the doors of the world's largest shopping mall. Thousands of stores, millions of products, customers everywhere. Now imagine discovering you don't own any of the merchandise. The shop owners do. Your job is simply to keep the mall attractive enough that buyers continue visiting. That's eBay. The better your marketplace becomes, the more sellers want to join. The more sellers join, the more products become available. The more products become available, the more buyers arrive. The more buyers arrive, the more sellers want to list. The cycle repeats. It's one of the purest examples of a network effect. And network effects can become incredibly valuable. But they can also disappear faster than most people realize, because buyers don't stay loyal forever. Neither do sellers. If another marketplace offers lower fees, better tools, or more customers, people move, which means every single day you have to convince millions of strangers that your marketplace is still the best place to buy and the best place to sell. Then another surprise appears: counterfeit goods, fake luxury watches, fake designer handbags, fake trading cards, Fake sneakers. Suddenly, you're not simply running a website, you're protecting trust. Because the moment buyers stop believing products are genuine, the marketplace weakens. Then comes fraud, fake buyers, fake sellers, stolen accounts, chargebacks, scams, money laundering attempts, identity theft. Every successful marketplace attracts honest people. It also attracts dishonest ones. And the larger the marketplace becomes, the more attractive it becomes to fraudsters. Which means your business isn't simply about helping people buy and sell. It's about protecting millions of strangers from each other. Now imagine this. Someone in Texas sells a vintage guitar. A buyer in Germany wins the auction. Payment is processed. Shipping begins. Customs become involved. The package disappears. Who gets blamed? Not the seller, not the courier, you, because your name is on the website. That's the hidden responsibility of owning a marketplace. You may not own the products, but customers still expect you to solve the problems. Then comes another revelation. eBay isn't really selling products. It's selling trust. Think about it. A buyer has never met the seller. The seller has never met the buyer. They're separated by thousands of miles. Different countries, different currencies, different legal systems. The only reason the transaction happens is because both sides trust the platform. Lose that trust, and the business begins to crumble. Which means, trust isn't just a feature, it's your product. That's when you finally understand what you've bought. You haven't purchased an online store, you've purchased a digital marketplace. One where millions of strangers exchange billions of dollars every year, because they believe your platform is fair. Today, we're going to discover what that actually means. How much would it cost to buy eBay? Why doesn't the company need giant warehouses? How does it make billions without owning inventory? Why are collectibles becoming one of its most valuable businesses? What happens if buyers and sellers decide to leave? And after everything we've learned, would owning eBay actually be one of the smartest millionaire decisions ever made? Or are you buying a business that depends entirely on keeping strangers honest? Before we find out, if you enjoy exploring the economics behind the world's biggest businesses, subscribe to Millionaire Decisions. And here's today's question. If someone handed you enough money to buy eBay tomorrow, would you take the deal? Or would you buy Amazon instead? Let me know in the comments. Because next, we're going to discover why buying eBay may be the cheapest part of the investment. Keeping millions of buyers and sellers happy is where the real cost begins. So, you've made your decision. You want eBay. The investment banks are preparing the paperwork. Law firms are reviewing thousands of documents. Institutional investors are watching. And someone slides a thick folder across the table. The first page contains only one number. Hundreds of billions of dollars. At first, that almost sounds cheap. After everything we've covered on this channel, Amazon costs trillions, Apple costs trillions, Microsoft costs trillions. Compared to those companies, eBay almost looks like a bargain. But appearances can be deceiving, because buying eBay is only the beginning. Keeping it alive is where the real investment starts. The first thing you discover is that marketplaces don't manufacture products. They manufacture trust. Every single day, millions of strangers meet on your platform. They've never spoken before, they've never met, they don't know each other. Yet one of them is willing to send hundreds, sometimes thousands, of dollars to someone they've never seen. Why? Because they trust eBay. That trust is your most valuable asset, and protecting it is expensive. Imagine waking up tomorrow to discover thousands of fake luxury watches have appeared overnight. Counterfeit Rolexes, fake Louis Vuitton handbags, replica sneakers, forged sports cards. If buyers lose confidence, sales fall. If sellers lose confidence, listings disappear. Suddenly, your marketplace begins shrinking. That's why eBay invests heavily in fraud detection, artificial intelligence, human investigators, seller verification, buyer protection, risk management, authentication services, all invisible to the customer, but absolutely essential to the business. Then comes cybersecurity. Millions of accounts, millions of payment details, millions of passwords. Every hacker in the world knows exactly where your customers are. One successful attack could destroy years of trust overnight. So you hire cybersecurity experts, software engineers, threat analysts, compliance officers, legal teams. You spend millions just protecting information. Then comes customer support. Imagine a buyer receives the wrong item. Another never receives their package. A seller claims the buyer is lying. The buyer claims the seller committed fraud. Who settles the dispute? You do. Every disagreement costs money. Customer service representatives, case investigators, refund systems, appeals, payment reversals, technology, legal compliance. Again, none of this creates new revenue. It simply protects the marketplace you already have. Then you discover another cost: technology. Unlike a traditional retailer, eBay's website is the business. If the platform crashes for 1 hour, millions of buyers disappear. Millions of sellers stop selling. Millions of dollars worth of transactions vanish. So the platform must remain online every second. Servers, cloud infrastructure, engineers, software updates, machine learning, search algorithms, recommendation systems, mobile apps. Everything must keep improving, because your competitors never stop improving theirs. Then comes the search engine. Think about what happens when someone types vintage Omega watch. Thousands of listings appear. Which one comes first? Which one appears on page 10? Who decides? You do. Or more accurately, your algorithms do. Those algorithms influence billions of dollars in sales. A tiny improvement can generate millions in additional revenue. A tiny mistake can push buyers toward another marketplace. Then comes payments. Money moves across borders. Currencies change. Exchange rates fluctuate. Fraud attempts increase. Governments require compliance. Tax authorities demand reporting. Anti-money laundering regulations become stricter every year. You're no longer running a website. You're running part of the global financial system. Then another surprise appears. Authentication. Luxury watches, designer handbags, trading cards, high-end sneakers. These products can sell for thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars. Would you spend $10,000 buying a Rolex from a complete stranger? Probably not, unless someone verifies it's genuine. That's why authentication has become one of eBay's fastest-growing trust businesses. Experts inspect the item, verify authenticity, then forward it to the buyer. The seller gains credibility. The buyer gains confidence. The marketplace grows stronger. Again, you're not selling watches, you're selling certainty. Then there's advertising. Millions of sellers want visibility. Everyone wants their product to appear first, so they pay. Promoted listings, sponsored products, premium visibility. Sound familiar? Just like Amazon, just like Google. Attention has become one of the most valuable products on the internet. And because buyers already arrive intending to purchase, that attention becomes even more valuable. Then comes international expansion. Every country has different tax laws, consumer protection laws, privacy laws, import regulations, payment rules, currency risks. What works in America may not work in Germany. What succeeds in Japan may fail in Brazil. Owning a global marketplace means understanding dozens of different legal systems simultaneously. Now let's add everything together. The acquisition price, fraud prevention, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, customer support, software development, authentication, legal compliance, payment systems, advertising technology, search algorithms, global expansion, data protection, trust and safety. Suddenly, that cheap marketplace doesn't look so cheap anymore. Because while Amazon spends billions moving products, you spend billions making sure strangers trust each other enough to trade. And here's the fascinating part. Despite all those costs, eBay still doesn't own the products. Which raises the next question. If the inventory belongs to everyone else, Where does your money actually come from? That's where the real genius of eBay begins. How eBay actually makes money. You've bought eBay. The lawyers are gone. The bankers have stopped calling. You walk into headquarters on your first day as owner. You look around. There are no giant factories, no assembly lines, no robots building products, no warehouses filled with inventory. Instead, you see software engineers, data scientists, product designers, cybersecurity specialists, marketplace analysts. At first, it almost feels too simple, until you realize every one of those employees is helping billions of dollars move between people who have never met. Let's follow one transaction. A collector decides to sell a rare Pokémon card. They create a listing, upload photos, write a description, choose an auction. Within minutes, collectors from around the world begin bidding. Eventually, someone wins. Money changes hands. The seller ships the card. The buyer receives it. The transaction ends. Simple. Except, at almost every step, eBay earns money. The seller pays listing-related fees in some cases. When the item sells, eBay earns a transaction fee. The seller wants more visibility. They pay for promoted listings. The buyer purchases with confidence because of authentication. The marketplace becomes stronger. One transaction. Multiple revenue opportunities. Now imagine that happening millions of times every day. Books, shoes, electronics, car parts, jewelry, trading cards, luxury watches, musical instruments, collectibles. Every successful transaction adds another small stream of revenue. That's the beauty of marketplace economics. Unlike traditional retailers, you don't need to buy inventory first. Think about Walmart. Before Walmart sells a television, it first has to buy the television, store it, protect it, move it, hope someone eventually purchases it. If nobody buys, Walmart still owns the inventory. That's inventory risk. eBay avoids most of that. The seller owns the product. The seller carries the inventory risk. The seller usually stores it. The seller usually ships it. Yet eBay still earns money when the transaction succeeds. That's an incredibly efficient business model. Then comes the network effect. Imagine only 10 sellers use eBay. Not very interesting. Now imagine 1,000 sellers. Selection improves. Now imagine 1 million sellers. Suddenly, buyers can find almost anything. Now imagine 100 million buyers. More buyers attract more sellers. More sellers attract more buyers. The cycle feeds itself. That's why marketplaces can become so powerful. The value isn't just the software. The value is everyone already using it. But there's another reason people use eBay. Things you can't easily buy elsewhere. Vintage cameras, classic car parts, discontinued electronics, rare comic books, limited edition sneakers, autographed memorabilia, collectibles, one-of-a-kind items. Amazon is excellent for buying new products. eBay shines when you're searching for something unusual, something discontinued, something impossible to replace. That creates a different kind of customer. Collectors, enthusiasts, professionals, people willing to pay a premium because the item simply doesn't exist anywhere else. Then comes auctions, one of eBay's defining innovations. Imagine owning a rare baseball signed by a legendary player. How much is it worth? You don't know. The buyer doesn't know. Instead of setting one fixed price, you let the market decide. 2 collectors begin bidding, then 5, then 20. Competition pushes the price higher. The marketplace discovers the value in real time. That's something traditional retail can't easily replicate. Then, there are business sellers. Many companies don't use eBay to clear out old inventory. They use it as a full-time sales channel. Thousands of businesses generate most of their revenue through the platform. That means eBay isn't only helping individuals sell second-hand goods, it's supporting entire businesses. Then comes advertising. A seller launches a new product. Thousands of competitors already exist. How do they stand out? They pay for visibility. Again, eBay doesn't manufacture the product. It monetizes attention. Attention has become one of the internet's most valuable currencies. The more buyers visiting your marketplace, the more valuable that attention becomes. Then comes data. Every search teaches you something. Every click, every purchase, every abandoned cart, every category, every trend. You begin understanding what people want before many retailers do. That information improves recommendations, search results, advertising, fraud detection, pricing insights. Everything becomes smarter. That's when you realize you're no longer running an auction website. You're running an information business, one powered by millions of buying decisions every single day. And that's what makes eBay so fascinating. The company owns very little inventory, yet it sits in the middle of billions of dollars worth of commerce. It doesn't need to manufacture products. It simply makes buying and selling easier than doing it anywhere else. But every successful marketplace eventually faces the same question. What happens when another marketplace becomes even easier? Because network effects are powerful, but they're not permanent. And that's exactly the decision you'll face next. In Chapter 4, The Billionaire Decision. The risks of owning eBay. By now, you've seen why eBay became one of the world's most successful online marketplaces. You don't manufacture products. You don't own warehouses full of inventory. You don't carry billions of dollars worth of unsold goods. Instead, you own something much more valuable. A meeting place. A place where buyers and sellers find each other. And every successful transaction puts money in your pocket. From the outside, it looks like one of the simplest businesses we've covered. But simplicity can be deceptive, because the moment buyers stop coming, everything changes. Let's imagine something. A customer wants to buy a used camera. 10 years ago, their first thought might have been eBay. Today, they have options. Amazon, Facebook Marketplace, Mercari, Poshmark, StockX, Goat, Etsy, local classified apps, specialized collector websites. Suddenly, the biggest threat to your business isn't that people stop buying, it's that they stop buying through you. That's the challenge every marketplace eventually faces. Attention. If buyers begin somewhere else, sellers follow. If sellers leave, selection shrinks. If selection shrinks, buyers leave. The same network effect that built your empire can begin working in reverse. Then comes another problem. Counterfeits. Imagine a collector finally finds the watch they've been searching for. They spend $5,000. The package arrives. It looks perfect. Until an expert tells them it's fake. That customer may never trust your marketplace again. Now multiply that by thousands. Luxury handbags, trading cards, sneakers, jewelry, electronics. Every fake product damages something much bigger than one transaction. It damages confidence. And confidence is your business. That's why authentication has become one of eBay's most important investments. Not because it directly sells more products, but because trust creates future transactions. Then comes fraud. Some buyers claim packages never arrived. Some sellers ship empty boxes. Others manipulate auctions. Some create fake accounts. Others steal identities. The larger the marketplace becomes, the more attractive it becomes to dishonest people. Now imagine millions of transactions happening every month. Even if only a tiny percentage become fraudulent, you're still dealing with thousands of disputes. Every dispute costs money. Customer support, investigations, refunds, technology, legal compliance. Trust isn't free. It's maintained one decision at a time. Then comes artificial intelligence. At first, it sounds like good news. AI can help buyers find products faster. It can detect fraud, improve search, recommend prices, write better product descriptions. Everything becomes smarter. But AI also creates a new question. What if people stop browsing marketplaces altogether? Imagine asking an AI assistant, "Find me the cheapest vintage Nikon camera in excellent condition and buy it." The AI searches multiple marketplaces instantly. The customer never opens the eBay app, never visits your website, never sees your advertisements. Now ask yourself, who owns the customer relationship? The marketplace or the AI assistant? That's a question every digital platform must answer over the next decade. Then comes competition. Unlike Coca-Cola, eBay doesn't own a secret recipe. Unlike Apple, it doesn't control an entire ecosystem. Unlike Microsoft, it doesn't own the operating system. Its advantage comes from people choosing to participate, and participation can change. Imagine another marketplace, offering lower fees, better seller tools, faster payments, lower advertising costs. Sellers begin experimenting. Some never come back. That's why innovation never stops. You can't simply maintain yesterday's marketplace. You have to build tomorrow's. Then comes regulation. Governments increasingly ask difficult questions. How should online marketplaces handle counterfeit goods? What responsibility should platforms have for dangerous products? How should customer data be protected? Should marketplaces verify sellers more aggressively? Every new regulation increases operating costs. Again, you're not paying to grow. You're paying to protect the business you've already built. Now think about consumer behavior. Years ago, people loved auctions, watching prices rise, competing against other buyers, winning at the last second. Today, many shoppers want something different. Instant purchases, fixed prices, fast shipping, convenience. That means eBay has had to evolve beyond its original identity. The auction business made eBay famous, but today's marketplace is far broader. Owning eBay means constantly adapting without losing the identity that made customers trust you in the first place. Now let's return to that Wednesday morning. The investment banker, the contract, hundreds of billions of dollars. Would you still sign? Let's think like a billionaire. You wouldn't ask, can eBay make money? Of course it can. Instead, you'd ask harder questions. Can eBay continue attracting younger buyers? Can it defend its marketplace against Amazon and dozens of niche competitors? Can authentication become a competitive advantage? Can AI strengthen the platform instead of replacing it? Can management continue evolving the business without losing its identity? Most importantly, can trust continue scaling? Because that's the foundation of everything. Lose trust, and the marketplace disappears. Keep trust, and millions of strangers will continue doing business every single day. That brings us to the final question. After everything we've learned, is eBay actually worth buying? Let's go back to where this story began. It's Wednesday morning, 8:26. Your breakfast is getting cold. The investment banker is waiting. The contract is still sitting on the table. Hundreds of billions of dollars. One signature. One decision. At the beginning of this video, owning eBay sounded simple. Now, it doesn't. Because now you understand what you're really buying. You're buying trust. You're buying reputation. You're buying millions of relationships between complete strangers. You're buying one of the world's largest digital marketplaces. But you're also buying every dispute, every scam attempt, every counterfeit product, every cybersecurity threat, every technology upgrade, every regulatory challenge, every competitor trying to convince your buyers and sellers to leave. You're buying responsibility, not inventory. Let's do the math. Suppose you acquire eBay for hundreds of billions of dollars. You now own one of the world's best-known marketplaces. Millions of active buyers, millions of sellers, a globally recognized brand, strong cash generation, very little inventory risk. Compared to traditional retailers, that's incredibly attractive because you're not constantly tying up billions of dollars inside warehouses. Your capital requirements are lower, your operating model is lighter, and that's one of eBay's greatest strengths. But there's another side to the story. Your business depends almost entirely on activity. No buyers, no transactions. No transactions, no fees. Unlike Coca-Cola, people don't wake up craving eBay. Unlike Apple, people don't line up outside stores for your newest product. Customers come because they need something specific. That means you must constantly give them a reason to start their shopping journey on your platform, every single day. Now let's score the decision. Millionaire Decision Scorecard. Investment required, 3-star, compared with trillion-dollar technology giants. eBay is relatively affordable. That doesn't make it cheap. but it places ownership within reach of a much larger pool of institutional investors. Score, 3 out of 5. Profit potential, 4-star. Excellent. Marketplace fees, advertising, authentication, seller services, strong cash generation, and very little inventory risk. It's a highly efficient business model. Score, 4 out of 5. Risk level 4-star high. Not because of factories or supply chains, but because marketplaces depend on trust, competition, technology, and customer behavior. One major shift can change everything. Score, 4 out of 5. Operational difficulty 3-star. Running eBay is easier than operating Amazon. You don't manage global warehouses, delivery aircraft, or massive manufacturing operations. But protecting millions of daily transactions requires extraordinary technology and constant vigilance. Score, 3 out of 5. Time to recover investment, 4-star strong. A marketplace with healthy cash generation can produce attractive long-term returns if acquired at a sensible valuation. But like every investment, price matters. Score, 4 out of 5. Future outlook 3-star stable, but competitive. Artificial intelligence, changing shopping habits, niche marketplaces, and increasing regulation will shape the next decade. eBay has survived major shifts before. The question is whether it can continue reinventing itself. Final verdict. So, would owning eBay be a millionaire decision? The answer is yes, but for a very different reason than Amazon. Amazon wins by building one of the largest physical and digital infrastructures on Earth. eBay wins by building a marketplace where millions of people do the hard work for you. You don't own the products. You don't manufacture them. You don't usually ship them. Yet every successful transaction strengthens your business. That's an extraordinary model, but it's also fragile because your greatest asset, trust, can disappear much faster than it was built. So if you were buying eBay today, you wouldn't be buying warehouses, factories, or fleets of delivery trucks. You'd be buying confidence. The confidence that complete strangers can safely do business together. Protect that confidence, and the marketplace continues growing. Lose it, and no amount of technology can save the platform. And perhaps that's the biggest lesson from today's millionaire decision. The world's most valuable businesses don't always own the products. Sometimes, they simply own the place where everyone else comes to buy and sell them. So now, the investment banker asks one final time, do we have a deal? You look at the numbers, the millions of buyers, the millions of sellers, the marketplace, the competition, the opportunities, the risks, and now, you make your decision. If you enjoyed today's millionaire decision, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the economics behind the world's biggest companies and industries. And now, I want your verdict. If someone gave you enough money to buy eBay tomorrow, would you sign the deal? Or would you invest that money somewhere else? Tell me your decision in the comments below. And let me know which company we should put under the microscope next. Because every great business looks simple from the outside until you discover what it actually costs to own it.